Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome back to the committee, Secretary Chavez-DeRemer, and thank you for your phone call. I appreciated the conversation. I want to start by recognizing the anniversary of the Department of Labor's Women's Bureau, which turns 105 years old today. Unfortunately, under your leadership, the department is trying to eliminate the Women's Bureau, which would mean the end of WANTO, which is a program for women in apprenticeship and non-traditional occupations. I just want to say I hope that this administration is not trying to close this successful program in this important bureau because the word women is in the title. But what I want to talk about is a follow-up on our conversation about Job Corps. As you know, our home state of Oregon has 3 Job Corps centers under the jurisdiction of the Department of Labor. 2 of those are in the district I represent, Pivot in Portland and Tongue Point in Astoria, which is residential. A year and a half ago, you proudly announced on social media that the National Job Corps Association named you a Job Corps champion, and I have a reminder of that here. I'd also like to submit for the record a bipartisan appropriations letter requesting maintained funding for Job Corps in fiscal year 2025, which you signed. I'd like to submit that to the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, it will be submitted.
Thank you. And now, Madam Secretary, you've made a starkly abrupt shift from a champion to a destroyer of this important program. And at the end of last week, you ordered 99 Job Corps centers across the country to shut down operations by June 30th, sending their students off campus no later than tomorrow, June 6th. Fortunately, a judge has blocked that effort, at least temporarily, but I tell you that the students are distraught, and so are the local communities. On April 25th, the Department of Labor released a report titled Job Corps Transparency Report. What role did DOJ have in that report?
I want to be clear, the decision was not to eliminate Job Corps. Only Congress can eliminate Job Corps.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to follow up on that, but I need to know what role DOJ had in this report, this Job Corps Transparency Report.
The Department of Labor does have the delegation and authority to halt those center contracts, including program operations for Job Corps.
What role did DOJ have?
I know.
Sorry, Madam Secretary, I just want an answer. What role did DOJ have in that report?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Based on what you just said in the last statement about the TRO that was given last night, it actually gives me great pause that I cannot discuss the details now because of that TRO. And as I mentioned it on the outset, I want to give you these answers. I want to continue to have these conversations. The transparency report is where I can lead and talk to you about. Those numbers were from 2023.
But did DOJ write the report, is my question.
The Department of Labor, the government efficiency employees are Department of Labor employees. So if you're asking me about DOJ is in Department of Labor, yes, they're in every agency.
And did they participate in writing that report?
Yeah, we were together and working with that report.
Because I do know that there was an earlier version that was posted, and then a later date, a staffer who's been reported to be a staffer with DOJ replaced that report. Is that accurate?
I don't know what you're referring to about replacing that report.
There were 2 different versions apparently posted.
Okay.
So I want to move on.
It's from program year 2023, those numbers.
I know you say the numbers are, but I'm asking about the report specifically.
The report from this year in 2025.
And as you noted, Department of Labor called the contract terminations for Job Corps pauses. But yesterday, the Oregonian, our hometown newspaper, wrote that a new operator is not expected to be named. So does the Department of Labor intend to reopen these campuses? And that's just a yes or no question.
Under the TRO granted by the Southern District of New York, I cannot discuss this further in detail.
Madam Secretary, the fact that an issue is in litigation is not a sufficient legal basis to allow you to evade congressional oversight. And Secretary McMahon was here yesterday for hours and didn't once use litigation as an excuse for not answering the question.
Well, had I been here yesterday, I wouldn't have had to use it either, but because that injunction was late last night, I have to respect that the TRO is in place.
I'll just note there are many injunctions against the Department of Education as well. So if these are truly pauses, that would mean that the Department of Labor intends to reopen the campuses. If there's no plan or intent on reopening, there are closures. So which did you intend, to pause or to close?
We paused. We made the decision to do so. The Department of Labor has the delegation of authority to halt center operations and those contracts, including program operations for Job Corps sites. That being said, we are going to comply with the TRO that was issued yesterday.
I appreciate that. So if you're saying it was a pause, that means that you intend to reopen those campuses. Is that correct?
The report on replacing the report online is inaccurate. The first report posted, thank you for referring this, on the wrong file, and it was reposted that same day. So that was to your question on the two reports.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
For clarification, thank you for.
And I need to get another question, and, you know, I know you're going to comply with the temporary restraining order, and I
Absolutely, we'll
appreciate that. But Secretary DeRemer, you say you're going to send these students back to their home of record. How many current Job Corps students
The
are?
gentlelady's
Yeah,
time has expired.
If I could ask the
Congresswoman?
Congresswoman to, or the Secretary to submit that, it's a really critical issue.
Congresswoman,
These students
we
do
will work
not
with
have
your
homes to
office.
go to.
If there's any exception to this TRO, I promise you, I will answer your questions fully.
Thank you. I'll be
thank the
submitting that for the
gentlelady.
record. I yield back.